Monster 10. This is a copy of the Mono 47 Kalashnikov. And this is a modified version. What I'm going to teach you today is a field strip. Okay. This gun's pretty basic. This is a stock receiver and dust cover. This is the dust cover right here, the top part. Sights. This is a gas tube under here. You can't really see it. I'll show it to you when I take it apart though. Hand guard. Part of the gas tube here. Barrel. And this is a muzzle compressor or whatever. It causes the gun not to recoil so much. This is a hand guard, or not hand guard, but hand grip. This is a safety. At any time, should be unsafe. You don't want to hurt anybody. You notice I can't chamber it. Go all the way back to chamber the round. This is not safe, obviously. All right. So what I'm gonna teach you to do is how to field strip this weapon. Okay. First, I'm gonna take out the magazine. Check that nothing's in it. There's nothing here. Okay. Then I'm going to take off the dust cover, okay? This is the dust cover, this is the inside of the gun. The next part I'm going to do to take the gun apart is I'm going to take off rather, the gas spring. And all you do is you simply push down, because there's a little guide in here. I don't know if you can see it, but you take it out, and the spring just comes right on out. By the dust. Right? The next component that comes out is the gas rod and firing pin, or firing mechanism, I should say. You take it off, safe, but by this point the gun doesn't even fire at any point anyways. So take it out. This is a gas rod right here. It kind of looks like a car engine, like a piston. Pretty cool. Now the gun's pretty much not fireable. Inside here, this is the sear, which it hits the bullet, or the firing pin, and knocks the pin into the end of the bullet, the center fired round. The bullet that's shot out of here is a 7.62. Second. Those are, by the way, two 30-round magazines coupled together. This is a 40-round mag. Shoots a 7.62 center fire round, so the firing pin goes in there and hits that right there. Alright? So the next part I'm going to take off for you and give the rest of the gun, because it's pretty much already done. But there's only two more parts that have to come out to be a full field strip. Alright? So I'm going to take these screws out of the thing. I've already taken out two just to make this a quicker process, because this kind of takes a long time. Usually you wouldn't have to do this, but this is the reason why you have to do this is because it's a lot of my parts are aftermarket, and it just makes things easier for me. This gun runs about $300, surprisingly. And you don't even need a gun license to own these. 18 and no felony. Screw up. Alright. Back up there. Okay. Okay, whatever. Done messing with this thing. Just keep falling. Pick it up one more time. Okay. Alright, so at this point, it just pretty much comes apart. Just kind of wiggle it. And it just comes pretty much right off. Alright, this is the where the gas piston slides into, and when the gun fires, the gas from the bullet goes up into here and pushes the gas piston back and chambers another bullet out from the magazine. It's pretty neat. This part usually doesn't need to come off, but just take it off for the sake of things. So what I'm going to do next is, this is called the trunnion, this whole part right here. And you just flip this up, and there's a little gap here. I don't know if you can see with the camera, but there's a gap, so when I push this down, it just snaps, and it closes the gap. When I pick it up again, like that, it just comes right on up. And at this point, the gun's by most standards, fully field strip. This part really isn't supposed to come off, but it can. I flip up this switch, which I guess for the hell of it I will. So this causes this part to slide up and out, so I can take this whole part out. I don't think I really want to do that. I'm just going to leave that there, just for the sake of showing you how. That's how you do it. This part won't really. Alright, so this weapon's fully field stripped. Not really much else you can do to it. If you really wanted to, you could just take out the pin, but that's also what's holding this on. So you're really not just mess with that. But as you can see, it's pretty much a basic thing. It's not really anything too fancy. So then we get to do the next fun part, is just put it all back together. So the first thing I'm going to start with is the gas tube, which holds all this stuff. I'm going to flip this trunnion back down, or the part of the trunnion back down, so this part is sturdy again. The next part I'm going to put on again is the top of the handguard. And you want to try and get these close together again, because one thing that's easier about before you do this, all this extra modification, is it just pretty much just all comes together much easier. This is much easier for me as well to keep the gun all together and maintain. So you want to kind of close the gap. You really won't be able to see it, but once it's in between there, it's pretty good. It's not going to come apart. Just gotta make sure everything's even and equal on both sides, so the screws go in right. I'm just going to take these screws, start them, and I'll put the rest in later. But for the sake of it, all you really need to do is just kind of go like, with a car, you kind of start over opposite sides to make it go down evenly, so the pressure is spread evenly. And just take this, these are Allen screws. I don't know how best to describe it to you. You just turn them in there, one of these. The gun that I purchased, it just comes right with it. You just turn them right. And same happens to the other screw. Just turn it right. And it pretty much comes together okay. You know, just start pulling these parts together. Pretty easy to do. This part's probably going to be a little bit boring to watch, but I just want to make sure this guy gets put back together right later on, so just for my own sake. Okay. That's done. So the next part that goes back in, which is also a pain. So now you got to line up the tube just right. This is a gas tube. And you want to slide it once again into these rails, and it just slides right on in. And you put the spring back in, slide back in the tube within the gas tube, or gas piston. Slide once back in the rails. Last part. Line it up with these little rails. This is a fun part of mine. Well, because it usually doesn't go in very easily. Alright, it's back together. There's nothing in here, just make sure there's no obstruction. Because you don't want it, the gas piston, to hit anything within there, or else it'll mess with the gun really bad and you can bend your gas tube. And magazine back in. Obviously there's nothing in there. You can see, I don't know, nothing in there. Don't worry about the general safety rules. You really don't want to keep a gun loaded at any time inside your house. Magazine separated from your ammo, all that good stuff. All that said and done, let me reload this magazine. Scarily the capacity that they make these things. This is, like I said, this is 30, this is 60 altogether, 40, 100. They make drum magazines that are almost twice the capacity of these two, all these combined, which is kind of a big issue. But, Guns are only safe in the hand of the user. Just be responsible. The biggest importance of what I showed you is just saying keep your gun clean and maintained, so it won't be I guess, deteriorated. You just want to take care of it so you can find problems earlier, if there are problems. And like I said, just it's over its general maintenance, pretty much. So that's pretty much it. And thanks.
Those buttons.